What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Professor Leis here. So in this video, I want to walk you all through the syllabus for our course. So it's a good idea to have a notebook available so you could take notes as we go through this. But of course, just know that you could access the syllabus by clicking syllabus, or you can access it in the modules. It should be available in our first module as well. So let's jump into it. So before we get into the policies and what to expect from the course, I want to talk about these two quotations at the top of the syllabus. So one of them is from the writer Zadie Smith, and this is her pictured here. She's an essayist and a novelist. She's a writer that I really admire. I love reading her work. It's great work. And she has an essay called Fail Better. And in that essay, she says, "The very reason I write is so that I might not sleepwalk through my entire life." Now, the reason I have this at the top of the syllabus is because Zadie Smith is getting at something with regard to writing that I really want us to begin to kind of think about. So we're all familiar with using writing as a means of communication, right? We'll write something down, whether in an email, a text message, whatever it might be, and we'll send that text, that writing, to somebody else in order to communicate information. We do this every day, right? That's an everyday use of writing that we're all very familiar with. Another use of writing that we're really familiar with is to use writing as a way of recording information or preserving information. So we might write something down so that we can remember it or that we have a record of it, right? Think about what books do. Books are preservations of written knowledge and information, right? We write things down to preserve it. So that's the second characteristic of writing that we're probably very familiar with. But Zadie Smith is getting at a third characteristic of writing that we're probably not so familiar with. And what she's getting at is using writing as a way of expanding our thinking. So in her estimation, the whole reason that she is a writer, somebody who writes for a living, is so that she can be more conscious and aware of her own mind and how she fits into the world more broadly. If we're not really questioning what we encounter or trying to understand things on a deeper level or pursuing our curiosity or our interests or trying to come to satisfying answers to big questions, we might not really be reaching our full potential as human beings. And we might be just going through our lives kind of on autopilot, asleep, sleepwalkers, zombies, basically, just kind of going through the motions, not really thinking much about what we encounter and how we think about those things. And if we encounter something that confuses us, using writing to work through that confusion can help us expand our understanding. And so this is something that by the end of the course, I hope you all will begin to understand, or at least start to understand, that writing is a way to help us expand our own consciousness, our own thinking, our own minds. Now, the second quotation here comes from one of my favorite hip hop groups, Deltron 3030. And they have a song where they have this lyric here: "Upgrade your gray matter, because one day it may matter." And I like this quotation because it complements Zadie Smith's statement very nicely. But gray matter, that's a euphemism for our brains. If we were to open up our skulls and look at the organs inside our skulls, it would be this mass of wrinkly gray matter, right? But what I want us to think of this course, as a way to upgrade our thinking. So using writing as a way to expand our understanding of ourselves and how we fit into the world. So I like to include these two quotations on my syllabus to set the tone for how I want us to think about our class and writing in general. All right, well, let's jump into it here. So as I've mentioned, my name is Corey Leis. You all can call me Mr. Leis, Professor Leis, or even Corey, whatever you're most comfortable with. My email address is cleis@lbcc.edu, so you can send me an email if you need to reach out to me. However, I prefer to be contacted through Canvas. So right here, I'm circling my cursor around the inbox feature in Canvas. This is how I prefer to be contacted because I spend more time on Canvas than I do in my email account. So this is just a way to ensure that I'll see the message quicker. So that's how I recommend that you reach out to me. Student hours. If at any point this semester you would like to speak with me, we can arrange a Zoom session. And I do teach on campus at the Pacific Coast campus for Long Beach City College. So that's another way we might also be able to meet in person on that campus if that works out. But just know if you ever want to speak with me about your writing or about the course material, we can arrange a Zoom meeting. You'll just need to send me a message so we can make those arrangements. All right, course information. So as we know, this is fall 2024, and our course is an accelerated 8-week course. So a normal semester is 16 weeks. So ours is only half that, which means that we have 16 weeks of material to cover in half the amount of time, which means we're going to be moving quite quickly in this course. So keep that in mind. Now, we don't have any class meetings. There are no Zoom meetings or anything like that. So this course is what's called an asynchronous course, meaning that you can kind of complete the work for any given week when it works best for you. Now, we have 2 deadlines that we'll be working with each week. One will be midnight on Wednesday, and the other will be midnight on Sunday. So those are the 2 deadlines that we need to try to adhere to. But otherwise, you are able to work relatively at your own pace when you see fit, when you like to get your work done. Okay. Course materials. So obviously this class is an online course, so we need to make sure that we have access to a computer with a reliable internet connection. That's, a really important thing, obviously, for an online course. But something else that you'll want to make sure that you have is a notebook and something to write with. Writing in a notebook is one way to help brainstorm ideas. There's something about writing by hand that is a little different than if we're typing. So I recommend that you get a notebook and obviously have something to write with in that notebook. And then an academic planner or calendar of some sort. So studies show that students who make use of an academic calendar or planner, they tend to succeed at higher rates than students who don't. And that's because they're more organized. So that shouldn't be a surprise. So I really encourage you all to get in the habit of using some sort of planner so that you can keep track of all of your due dates and deadlines and all of your responsibilities. Some other immaterial course materials are, we want to make sure that we approach our course with an open mind, a positive attitude, and a willingness to learn. And what I mean by an open mind is that we are open to understanding new or challenging ideas before we come to judgment about them, right? So just approaching things with a sense of openness to try to understand before we cast some sort of judgment. Positive attitude, I don't mean that you need to always have a smile on your face and just be in a really good mood, although that would be excellent. What I mean by this is to be positively oriented, meaning that we are trying to foster a growth mindset and we understand that we can improve with work and effort, right? But we want to orient ourselves in a positive direction rather than in a negative direction. And then having a willingness to learn, just understanding that in order to learn, we need to sacrifice time, we need to spend time, and we need to put forth effort. Those are 2 key ingredients to learning, time and effort. We can't get around that, and so we want to make sure that we're approaching our course with that willingness to put in those things. Course description. In this course, students read and analyze college-level texts in order to write researched, thesis-based essays. Course objectives. So this class, these are the objectives that we're striving to accomplish this semester. So if we complete the course successfully, we will have done these things, all of these things here. Student learning outcomes for English 1. By the time we complete this course successfully, these are the things that we will be able to do. So we'll be able to read, analyze, and evaluate a variety of primarily nonfiction texts for content, context, and rhetorical merit with consideration of tone, audience, and purpose. And we'll also be able to write academic prose with a central rhetorical purpose and logical, relevant textual evidence. Student responsibilities and expectations. Oh my goodness. I'm already seeing a typo in here, y'all, so I need to correct this. So forgive me. Education is a complex process, and it is primarily contingent on the student's participation in it. An education cannot be given to a student, it must be earned. With this important fact in mind, each student has a set of important responsibilities if they choose to take English 1, not English 3. So that's my typo. I'll correct that. So if they choose to take English 1, each student is challenged to participate actively in this course. Active participation means that students will log into our Canvas site multiple times per week, and they will have carefully and thoroughly completed relevant activities by expected deadlines, and they will be ready and willing to engage with the demands of the course. To take this course means that each student understands and accepts the necessary time commitment. Each student should be prepared to spend at least 10 to 15 hours a week on our class alone. So this is really important, especially for an 8-week course. We need to be prepared to spend 10 to 15 hours at least on our course to make sure that we're actually engaging with the material in a meaningful way. So we want to keep that in mind. Students who decide to take this course have the responsibility to treat their fellow members of this learning community with dignity and respect. This responsibility is of the utmost importance, and I take it very seriously. This is essential to cultivating a healthy learning environment. Healthy learning environments also depend on individual and collective mindsets and attitudes. As such, students should have high expectations of themselves and the other members of this learning community. We expect the best of one another, and we expect that we all take our education seriously and are prepared to put forth the necessary effort to earn our education. My primary responsibility as an educator is to my students. I promise to challenge your thinking and your abilities as readers, writers, and thinkers, and to do my best to help prepare you for the rigors and demands of academic pursuit. However, in order for me to carry out these responsibilities effectively, you must commit to the demands and responsibilities of this course. Education is a personal endeavor, and it is your choice to take this class. If you're not prepared or willing to commit to these responsibilities, then you should not take this course. So I want to just dwell on this bolded statement here, that it's a choice to take this class. Now, I understand that English 1 and other courses, they're required courses in order to meet certain requirements for certificate or degree or transfer requirements, right? So in that sense, it's a required course. However, if you take a step back and look at the whole endeavor of college, that is a choice. Nobody forced you to enroll at Long Beach City College. Now, we may have had parental pressure or pressure from family members or friends, right? But in the grand scheme of things, you are here by choice, right? You chose to enroll at Long Beach City College, and you chose to enroll in this English 1 course, right? So when we keep that in mind, when we recognize that it is a choice, it becomes much more valuable, because when we recognize that we're here by choice, it means that we're choosing to spend our time and provide our attention in this specific way. And just as with any choice, especially if the choice is a meaningful one, it involves sacrifice, right? We're all sacrificing something in order to make room to take this class. So in some instances, we might be sacrificing our work schedule. So we might be cutting back on our hours, which means we're making less money. In some instances, we're sacrificing time with family and friends. And this is especially true if for those of you who might be parents or have younger siblings that you care for, or whoever it might be. We're sacrificing time away from them, right? Or sacrificing time with them, rather. So it's important that we understand that sacrifice. We might be sacrificing time spent on our pastimes or activities we really enjoy doing. Whatever the case is, we're making sacrifices in order to make room for our educations. And so it's really important that we don't squander our time and make those sacrifices make them in vain, right? We want them to mean something because they're really important, and we can never get our time back. So it's really important that we spend our time wisely and meaningfully, right? All right, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right now, just to break this up a little bit. So I'm gonna pick back up on conduct and behavior in the next video, and we'll continue on from there. So I'll catch you there. I'll see you on the other side.